Assalamualaikum and good day. My name is Nushanis Aina binti Sharijam with matrix ID 2020984319. I am going to start the introduction of Singapore for our interactive video assignment. Singapore is a sovereign island city-state in Southeast Asia, formerly known as the Republic of Singapore. It is located off the southern tip of the Malay Peninsula, about 1 degree north of the equator in 137 kilometers or 85 miles, bordering the Straits of Malacca to the west, the Riau Islands, Indonesia to the south, and the South China Sea to the east. The country's territory is made up of one main island, 33 satellite islands and islets, and one outlying islet, with a total size that has grown by 25% since independence due to massive land reclamation initiatives. It boasts the world's second highest population density. Singapore has 4 official languages, which are English, Malay, Mandarin, and Tamil. In recognition of its diversified population and the need to respect cultural identities. The language franca is English. Multiracialism is a constitutional principle that continues to influence national policy in education, housing, and politics. Sir Stamford Raffles established modern Singapore in 1819 as a British Empire commercial base. The colonies in Southeast Asia were reorganized in 1867, and Singapore was placed under direct British authority as part of the Straits settlements. Singapore was controlled by Japan throughout World War II, and after Japan's capitulation in 1945, it was transferred to British administration as a distinct crown colony. Singapore obtained self-government in 1959 and joined the new Malaysian Federation in 1963, together with Malaya, North Borneo, and Sarawak. Singapore was removed from the Federation 2 years later due to ideological disputes, and it became an independent country. Despite a lack of natural resources and a hinterland, the country quickly evolved into one of the 4 Asian tigers based on external commerce and became a highly developed country. It is rated 9th on the UN Human Development Index and has the world's second highest GDP per capita (PPP). All major rating agencies have given Singapore a AAA sovereign rating, making it the first government in Asia to do so. It is a significant financial and maritime hub that has been named as the most expensive place to live in since 2013 and has been labelled a tax haven. With a home ownership percentage of 91%, Singapore ranks highly in important social metrics such as education, healthcare, quality of life, personal safety, and housing. Singaporeans have one of the world's longest life expectancies, the quickest internet speeds, and one of the world's lowest newborn mortality rates. That is all for my part. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Najibah Najia and today I will talk about the background of Singapore. The founder of Singapore is a prince from Sumatra. He founded Singapore when he landed on the island after an auspicious lion. He considered it a sign of goodwill and named the city after Singapore, which means the Lion City. When Lord Hastings in late 1880 appointed Sir Raffles India British Governor General, he realized Britain can use Singapore as a useful port, and sooner Singapore became one of the critical centers for British forces and commerce. Singapore became the 3rd British acquisition in East India Malay. They built a trending port that maximized the growth rapidly. Then in 1942, the British surrendered the island to Japan. The Japanese had Singapore captivated until 1945 post-war. After the Japanese surrendered Singapore to the British, The situation went worse. Singapore remained in a state of violence. British forces came back to Singapore and took over the rule officially from Japan. And then in 1945, Singapore had its separation from Malaysia and Singapore moved towards its independence. Next, the technical term for Singapore's political system is a dominant party system. This means that elections are held on a regular schedule. Electors are free to vote for whoever they wish, but that one party has been highly successful, which it has to the extent that it seems difficult to imagine that it will be defeated in the short term, at least from outside of Singapore. Singapore has three main sectors: finance, petroleum, and shipping. One of these three, only finance, has shown any growth. However, as neighboring countries develop their infrastructure and learn to speak English, they are also seeing the decline of Singapore as a financial hub. Both petroleum and shipping have long been in decline, while Singapore's location as a strategic port has been the main reason for their success. The high cost associated with stopping at Singapore is now repelling many shipping lines. In addition, neighboring Brunei, Indonesia, and Malaysia have oil to drill, while Singapore has none, and these countries have now developed their own capacity to refine their own oil. Coupled with this, Singapore's economy is closely tied with China because lots of investment, both government and corporate, have been invested there. The recent crash of China's overheated economy has greatly affected Singapore's investment.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Nadira binti Zulkarnain and I will present to you about Background Part 2. Background Part 2 consists of two sections, social and cultural aspects. Children are brought along in most situations, except business and very formal events. Small children are showered with affection. Generally, children are expected to be quiet and obedient and may be physically punished for misbehaving. There is very little free space where children can play and few areas designed specially for children. More parents in Singapore are discovering the benefits of enrolling their babies in an infant care center in Singapore. The curriculum will provide plenty of opportunities for babies to develop their gross motor skills through age-appropriate activities. It is good to have friends at every stage in life, including infanthood. Infant care may provide a warm, social, and communicative environment where the baby will be far from lonely. Next, child rearing and education. Children are taught to hold the key not only to their own future but also to the future of their families, and education is regarded as extremely important. There is a range of private and public nurseries, kindergartens, and play schools. Children start school at age 6. Authoritarian parenting styles generally lead to children who are obedient and proficient, but they rank lower in happiness, social competence, and self-esteem. Also, it tends to result in children who are happy, capable, and successful. The parenting styles of individual parents also combine to create a unique blend in each family. In order to create a cohesive approach to parenting, it is essential that parents learn to cooperate and combine their unique parenting styles. In addition, there is a great emphasis on higher education. Children spend 6 years in primary school and 4 years in secondary school and then go on to a vocational school or university depending on their grades or money. What makes Singapore's education system so successful is because of Singapore's effective policy making. Drawn from its desire to build a world-class education system, Singapore's government has built a robust policy regime to achieve that. Unlike many other countries in the developed world, Singapore has adopted a holistic and flexible approach towards the construction of its education policies. The Ministry of Education never implements a policy without thorough research and testing to ensure that any change are guaranteed to succeed before being put to action. Next, for cultural aspects in Singapore. Despite being small size, the local customs and cultures of Singapore are a blend of multiple ethnic influence, including Chinese, Malay, Indians, and others. The reason being the country's history as a trading hub. This diversity is also reflected in terms of spoken languages, which include English, Mandarin, Tamil, and Malay. Some popular Singaporean customs and traditions are while meeting a Singaporean formally or informally, make sure to shake hands firmly with all, even when departing. In addition, a slight bow while shaking hands is considered respectful, and take off the shoes before entering anyone's house. Make sure never to pinpoint someone or something with a finger, just raise your hand for indication. In addition, tipping is not customary in Singapore. Most of the restaurants add a 10% service charge in the bill, in which case, tipping is generally discouraged. Avoid tipping at hawker centers and food courts. Refer to the middle-aged and elderly people as uncle or auntie, as it is seen as a sign of respect in Singapore. While eating with chopsticks, do not stick them upright in the bowl. It is reminiscent of funeral rites and considered bad luck. Singaporeans value discipline more than anything. They have no issue with standing in a queue for something that is good. Everywhere else, we tend not to queue because as humans, we have the need to get that something before someone else gets it. But Singaporeans know that is a waste of time and hassle to not be in a queue, and so in Singapore, you get to see some of the most orderly queues you can find. Also, Singaporeans place a lot of corporal punishment is widely accepted. Caning is not only used to punish criminals but also as a disciplinary measure in schools, the military, and in the domestic scene. Do not be surprised to find canes sold in the grocery stores. Singapore is known for its impeccable cleanliness and low crime rate. The country has such a strong reputation for being safe that the authorities had to put out a warning stating that low crime does not mean no crime, reminding people to stay vigilant. But as with more good things, the high regard the country gets for its cleanliness and safety comes with a price. Singapore is sometimes called the Fine City, but this title has a double meaning that you don't want to be on the wrong end of. The label refers to the immaculate or fine state that Singapore is in, but also for the many different fines the country imposes. Singapore is by far one of the cleanest countries, not only in Asia, but the rest of the world. Starting right from the spick and span Changi Airport right up to the spotless streets and bylands, there is absolutely no littering anywhere. To maintain the cleanliness, chewing gum is banned in Singapore. Since an open trade agreement with the USA in 2004, only a limited amount of medical chewing gums are allowed, but that too has to be prescribed by a dentist. The country gives away Clean and Green Singapore Awards every year to the districts which achieve the most in terms of public hygiene and environmental cleanliness.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Danisha bin Zaidi from AM110-4C. So today I would like to talk about Singapore issues domestic in an uncertain external environment. Okay, firstly, the new team of Singapore ministers will have to deal with a number of domestic challenges, including how to deal with the effect of technology disruptions, housing affordability, and the greater social expenditure for the elderly. Singapore has an unpredictable foreign environment in addition to domestic difficulties. However, there is pressure to safeguard Singapore's native professionals, managers, executive, and technicians from the flood of foreign skill. Okay, secondly is about politics in category of policy challenges. Firstly, since political independence in 1965, Singapore has seen a team of new ministers, the fourth of generation, who have actively participated in policy formation and execution. The People's Action Party, which is PAP strategies to political transition guarantees that the country is led by an experienced new team. Okay, thirdly is about economics and the assistance of financial resources for restructuring and for accommodating an aging population. In the recent years, Singapore's modern and largely trade-dependent economy has seen a declaration of development. Okay, lastly is about social and pursuing longer term structural transformation while tackling cyclical downturns and external geopolitical developments. Okay, firstly, to date, the government has been able to pursue long-term structural transformation while addressing cyclical and external deterioration as well as geopolitical developments to social cohesion, strong economic foundations, including the availability of financial resources for restructuring and to accommodate an aging population and a relatively divisive political absence. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Kushana bin Muhammad Sofi from group AM110-4C with the card matrix number of 2020-956-879. So for today, for the interactive video, I will be elaborating on the conclusion. Alright, so in conclusion, Singapore can be described as a progressive city, nation as well as state, with its multiracial community that consists of the majority Chinese, Malay, Indian and even Eurasian. Singapore is also known as the city in the garden. This is because nearly half of Singapore is protected green space. Singapore has had its many shares of history, from being under Sir Stamford Raffles, the British Empire, and even being under the Japanese influence. Furthermore, later on Singapore successfully became an independent country after its removal from Malaya. Why it is a progressive country? This is due to the fact that despite the scarce natural resources, Singapore managed to prove to other countries that it can become its own well-developed country. This also includes the economic wavelength of Singapore, which can be safely said at its proper peak. Singapore also ensures that the livelihood of its people is taken care of in terms of education, healthcare, quality of life, personal safety and housing. The citizens are very proud of its country and we can see why lah. Furthermore, throughout the journey of becoming one of the best and well-developed countries, Singapore too was changed drastically in its early years. As mentioned before, Sir Stamford Raffles happened to be active around Singapore, hence with his influence, Singapore was also a trading port which was effective in terms of the British Empire. Besides that, Singapore also established a dominant party system which is beneficial for its citizens and whatnot. Singapore can be considered as a strategic country in correlation with its placement in the world. Not surprising, the country also managed to establish a good connection and partnership with China, which helped boost up their investment. Though Singapore is seen to be a thriving country, its struggles are the reason why Singapore should be made as an example. For instance, Singapore's ministry had to deal with a lot of work in ensuring issues such as housing affordability and more. Through great management, all is well for the country, which includes its political, economical, and social issues. Thus, this is why Singapore is one of the best countries in Southeast Asia, and why other countries in the region should make Singapore as a prime example in climbing up as well as a developed country. That is all from me. Thank you very much.